We will get into the basketball stuff, but first I want to start with the football question, Richard. Amonte Spivey, running back at the University of Arkansas, announced that he is going to be entering the transfer portal. Just kind of your thoughts on his decision to do just that.
Well, you know, a lot of times when kids announce something like that, people automatically think it's one thing, and sometimes there's some other behind the scenes stuff that is going on too. So I thought he had a chance to make some damage next year at the running back position. I think he had a good burst. He had good size. I thought if he just would do everything that was needed, I think he had a chance to get some serious playing time next year. But obviously, that's not going to be the case, and he's going to transfer.
Richard, we were talking about before you came on the county, the city, the surrounding areas of Memphis, Tennessee. Now, we were joking, hey, basketball, blues, and barbecue, a lot of good stuff. But, man, there's some football talent there as well. If Arkansas is able to beat Tennessee on Saturday night, they already got the win over Ole Miss in Oxford, about an hour and a half away. They got the win over Mississippi State. Starkville's about 2:45 away. How important would Memphis be as a recruiting territory if Arkansas got the win on Saturday night?
Well, I mean, anytime you do that, you recruit an area, and it's your opponents. Obviously, you beat your opponent, and you're recruiting in their territory. That's bragging rights, and kids kind of notice that. But right now, you know, Chad Morris and his staff really recruited Memphis and Tennessee when they were there. And I'm not saying Coach Pittman and his staff's not going to, but they're the only coach that's really that I know of that's recruiting Tennessee, and it is Memphis, is Brad Davis, which obviously he's got some great connections there. So, and I haven't really talked to very many kids that are talking to Arkansas or considering Arkansas, but obviously that could change in the future.
Yeah, and you look at what Tennessee has done. I mean, I know you follow it a lot closer than most because that's your beat and that's what you do, but been pretty impressive what Jeremy Pruitt has been able to do in his couple of seasons at Tennessee. The number of 4-stars he's put in there. How has he done it, and where are the players coming from that Jeremy Pruitt's been able to put together in his recruiting classes that have been pretty impressive so far?
Well, with Tennessee, they've always recruited nationally for the most part. Surprisingly or not surprisingly, Tennessee doesn't turn out a lot of SEC caliber talent. They definitely turn out talent, but not in great numbers. But they definitely spread themselves quite a bit nationally, and they do a lot of damage in Tennessee. In Georgia, in North Carolina, and obviously in Florida. They dipped into Alabama. They also hit it regionally, but they try to go nationally too.
And you know, we've talked about Sam Pittman and what he has spoken about learning what he learned from Kirby Smart in his time at Georgia. Clearly, what Jeremy Pruitt picked up in his time from Nick Saban as well, has set the course on what he needed to do recruiting wise. Because Tennessee's been pretty impressive on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, there's no doubt. They've been usually in the top 10, top 15 nationally, and let's face it, Tennessee has some of the best facilities in college football. There's no doubt about that, and they've had a good tradition over the years. Recently, it hasn't been so good, but they still have a strong brand, and kids in the region definitely remember that. And like I said, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, those places in Alabama, the kids still they hear about Tennessee on a consistent basis. So they understand that they have a rich tradition, just not so much recently.
RD, you wrote a really good piece about Cameron Ball. What'd you learn about him, man?
He's just a kid who, in talking to him, he's just a great kid, very personable. I think, obviously Arkansas is hoping he becomes a Razorback, and I think with Christopher Paul, the linebacker from Georgia, and them being pretty good friends, I think that helps quite a bit. I think it's going to probably come down to Arkansas and Georgia Tech, but he announced just the other day that he's probably going to announce his decision February the 5th. So he's got a long time before he makes a decision. So a lot of things could happen. Some other schools could come in late and try to see if they could get in the mix with him. So right now, I think Arkansas is in pretty good shape. But with that amount of time before a decision, and especially in February, schools are scrambling for prospects, especially defensive tackle prospects. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of bigger schools that he's got a good offer list now. But what I'm saying is some of the schools that are maybe just looking at him right now and touch base with him really turn up the heat, and that's when it gets really interesting near the end of the recruiting process.
Richard, when you think about what's going on with COVID, how it's impacting on-campus recruiting visits, do you think because of all this, the less traveling, less moving from the house, do you think that's going to cause a lot of student athletes, not only at the University in Arkansas, but across high schools across the United States, to stay closer at home or more apt to go to an in-state school?
I think it could lend itself to that, especially kids that have not been. You've always in the past taken the opportunity during the off season to visit schools maybe farther away, just to for let's say a spring vacation or a summer vacation. You take the opportunity to be able to do that. Obviously, kids haven't been able to do that back in the spring or in the summer, and we don't know when that's going to ever, be back open. So I tend to think that just because of COVID, like you said, I think kids may have a tendency to stay closer to home. But I think obviously that's up to each individual kid. They may feel comfortable enough about going away from home without visiting a campus that they're not that familiar with by just looking online. Because right now, let's face it, a lot of kids that's what they're doing. They're looking online. They're doing Zoom meetings with the coaching staffs and Zoom tours of the campuses and facilities. So it's kind of a crazy thing right now. But I tend to think that kids right now, it just depends on the individual.
RD, I also want to talk to you about a little basketball before we close you down here. 24/7 Sports came out with their updated recruiting rankings on that side of things, and my goodness gracious, Arkansas kids got a shot in the arm. Nick Smith is the now 25th best-ranked high school recruit in the 2022 class. Khalil Ware's at 32, Joseph Pinion's at 144, and then Darian Ford's at 52. Just kind of your thoughts at seeing these guys fly up their recruiting rankings. And, man, how good is this 2022 in-state recruiting basketball class?
Well, yeah, I think with Nick Smith and Ware, both of those guys, they were able to be seen during the summer. They still got out there and played and were able to be seen. And I think with Darian Ford, his reputation was already strong. And Joseph, because he wasn't really able to get out there because he had an injury back during in the spring. He wasn't able to really get out there this summer and be seen. So I think when you're able to, just a limited amount of time that analysts have an opportunity to see kids, and you're out there being seen, I think that's a key reason why some of these kids shot up there. And they obviously are very talented.
RD, before we let you go, this is not an in-state kid. This is an out-of-state kid that Eric Busselman and his staff have been keeping tabs on. Trey Alexander out of Oklahoma is expected to make his decision next Tuesday. Now, for the longest time, I thought he was going OU. That was pretty solid. But apparently Arkansas has been getting after this kid really hard recruiting. You think he picks the Hogs next Tuesday?
We'll see. We'll see. I think there. You got Auburn, Oklahoma. You got some other schools, but right now, I don't know. I don't have a strong feel. I'd probably lean maybe a different direction. I don't know. It's just he's right now he's kind of keeping things close to the vest, but we'll see.
All right. Well, Richard, we always appreciate it. We managed to get through the show without a single food question with you, so we'll save those.
What's wrong with us?
We'll save those for. I did have a chicken fried steak last night, though, buddy. So we'll save a food question or two for next week.
Well, I eat healthy. I had a Subway.
Yeah. All right, RD. Appreciate it as always, bud.
See you guys.
All right, good stuff from the best Richard Davenport here on the Morning Rush.